Win a Pageant, episode 53. I created this step-by-step process after training thousands of women across the U.S. to win. Now you can have access to these winning strategies when you join me every Wednesday. Let's win a pageant. Hey girl, welcome to another episode of Win a Pageant. I'm your coach, Alycia Darby, and I just want to start this episode by giving a special thank you to those of you who have completed the pageant interview questionnaire. A couple weeks ago, I sent out an email to some of the women on my list and just asked for some feedback about their pageant interview, like what you struggled with, what you love about it, what you wish you could skip in the prep, or how you're preparing now. I have gotten some amazing feedback. I know that there really is a real struggle to nail the interview, and your feedback is helping me to create a course that is specific to just that. My goal is that I want you to be able to leave your interview feeling confident, like you've really connected, truly deeply connected with the judges, that they really know you and get you, and that you leave with a powerful impression left on their hearts. So if you have not yet given your feedback, would you mind just taking 5 minutes to fill out this quick questionnaire? You can find the link to it at winapageant.com/53. That's this episode number. It just asks about 10 questions about pageant interview, and it gives you opportunity to fill in extra info if you got more feedback or something else came to mind. When you do fill out the questionnaire, you're going to get access to my mini series called How to Answer the Hardest Pageant Interview Questions. This is a thing that I've already done for many of my clients to talk about how to answer political questions or questions that you literally have no answer to, like how are you supposed to handle that, and controversial questions or even questions that, this is a big one, that kind of tug on your own heartstrings. Oftentimes when you have a platform that's really touching, or they ask a question that's like inappropriate, like how are you supposed to handle those without tearing up or getting angry, things like that. So that is my gift to you when you complete this questionnaire. It's a relatively quick training, but it gives you absolutely exactly what you need to start practicing to know, what am I supposed to do to answer these pageant interview questions that are really tough. So plus, for those of you who fill out the questionnaire, if you've already done it or if you're willing to do it in the next week or so, I will also give you early access to the program that I'm creating once it's all finished. So again, if you've done it already, just thank you so much. And if you're headed there right now, the link again is winapageant.com/53. Now let's dive into today's training. So we're going to talk about some pageant etiquette. I really believe that this is vital to maintaining your reputation in the pageant industry. Most women learn pageant etiquette as they go through the process of pageantry, generally because someone else does something that they either really respect and admire, or they do something that everybody else disrespects and points it out. So those kinds of things just in life do teach us. And this, of course, happened to me many, many times. I'm sure it's happened to you because it happens to all of us, where maybe you're embarrassed by something that you did, or you didn't realize that that's supposed to be how it goes. And then you were kind of caught in this catch-22 or whatever. Do not fret. If you pay attention in today's episode, I'm going to save you a ton of embarrassment and time in just the experience of learning these things. So our first piece of etiquette is about title introductions. So your pageant title, how do you introduce yourself with your pageant title? So if your title is very simple, like Miss USA, then of course you're just going to say that. It's going to be easy to remember that. But what about if you are Miss Greater Lakes of the North, International Teenager of America, US? Then it becomes a little bit more complex, okay? So the thing that you want to remember here is that different pageants have different titles to signify which pageant system the title holder belongs to. If your title is Miss Greater Lakes of the North, International Teenager of America, US, and you shorten it to Miss Greater Lakes, you could confuse the audience even more than a long title could. You could also infringe on trademark laws. So really the rule of thumb is you want to use the full title as it was announced when you received the crown, even if it's super long. If it includes your state, then you need to say the state. If it includes the state before the nation, do that. If it includes the nation before the state, do that. If it's Ms. or Miss or Mrs., you've got to use exactly as it was announced when you received the crown, because that is your official title. The second most common etiquette error happens just after responding to your onstage question. Now, some of you probably already know what I'm talking about, but contrary to what often happens, you should not finish your statement with "thank you." It is so annoying. Many people in the audience cringe when this happens. You will never see a presidential candidate answer a press question during a press conference and then say "thank you" after every single answer. Okay, therefore, neither should you. Unless, okay, now you know I always give you all the details here. So here would be the exception to that rule. If the audience is truly going wild with applause for some marvelous thing that you just said, which I have seen this happen a time or two before, where the woman answers a question that is just so witty or fascinating or just amazing, and the audience just truly goes wild with applause. In that case, it is totally appropriate to thank the audience for basically like amening your opinion. So when they are applauding your answer, you could say thank you to the audience for their applause. But you're not saying thank you like for letting me answer that question, or like thank you for listening intently, or thank you for having me at this pageant. No, you're just answering the question, okay? To close your answer, simply bring your gaze back to the person that asked the question in the first place. So if the question came from a judge in the front row, you're going to answer first the judge, then the entire audience. You're directing your answer to everybody. And then as you're bringing it to a close, you bring your gaze back to the person that asked the question initially. The best way to finish your answer is to just sew it up with a finishing tone. That is proper etiquette. Our next piece of etiquette comes from gown store owners around the globe. I am sure that many of them will be grateful to the fact that I'm even sharing this with you, okay? Now, every time that you enter a pageant gown store, so you know what I'm talking about when you go to a bridal and pageant boutique, or if you go to a designer showroom, things like this, okay? You want to act as though you just walked in to Dulce & Gabbana on Rodeo Drive. By that, I mean calm down, go slowly, treat everything with absolute care. Here's how. When you flip through the racks, you want to handle the gown by the hangers, not the fabric, because that could damage the gown or leave marks from the oils on your hands. You know, the fabric of really designer excellent gowns truly is spectacular. There's beading that could get damaged if you're just ruffling through them. So if you want to look through the rack, that's appropriate, but just handle it by the top of the hanger, not by the gown itself. Secondly, you want to take only 3 or 5 gowns into the dressing room at a time. You're going to hang each one up before you take another off of the hanger. So don't be trying to try things on over top of tank tops or ask for a pair of earrings with every single gown. Don't do that either, okay? Instead, just be very thoughtful in the process and respectful of the gowns and of the attendants that are helping you. Oftentimes, the attendants that are helping you are designed to make the process simpler, of course, yes, for you, but also for them. They want to make sure that you're not zipping the gown all kinds of crazy or sliding it around over here, over there, or trying to squeeze into something that doesn't fit and breaking zippers, okay? All of these things the attendants are really aware of, and they want to help you through this process so that doesn't happen to their gowns. So they are really there to make sure that the gowns stay lovely. So treat them with respect, both the gowns and the staff, the attendants that are helping you, and they will respect you. Speaking of gown stores and respect, sometimes you will receive a discount or a gift card to spend at a merchant's store. Now, this is common as a part of a prize package for local and state pageants, even for national pageants sometimes. The store discount is intended to put toward a larger purchase, not for a free cocktail dress. So I see this all the time, and it just makes my heart want to cry for both the store owner and for the woman that is doing this. So here's an example. Let's say that you receive $200 to a store as a gift upon winning your pageant, or maybe they give that to all local title holders in the state or something. Please do not show up to that store expecting to redeem it without at least buying a pair of shoes. Okay? For the business owner, this level of sponsorship is a marketing strategy. And just like any other business, a marketing strategy is designed to help people get into your store, to really see what you've got there, and to experience the joy of being a part of the process. Most gown stores that give discounts are deeply tied to the pageant, and the owners and the attendants of the store are excited to have you in their store. They want to show you the unique merchandise that they have, and they want to dote on you and help you to enjoy your pageant experience. But if you show up searching for something that's like no more than $205, they will not view you in a positive light. Instead, when you're ready to buy additional wardrobe, when it comes time to actually invest in yourself in a cocktail dress or a gown or even shoes or accessories, if they're sold at this type of store, which usually they are, that is the perfect time to shop with them, because you are preparing yourself for karma, the law of reciprocity. You're really setting yourself up for a give and take, not just a take, which, as we know, that is not the best way to move forward in life, is by take. Instead, you want to give 3 times before you even ask for something. So if you do end up finding the perfect dress for $199, then you should at least buy a pair of earrings or shoes, something to make their time and generosity really worthwhile. That is going to increase your value in their eyes. Even if you don't spend thousands and thousands of dollars with them, you don't have to do that. But just give something back so that you aren't left taking only. This leads me to gift giving. Now, gift giving is a huge part of pageantry. Maybe that's why I love it so much. I love giving presents, but I also love receiving them. And it is totally appropriate to bring a generous gift to your pageant roommate, your host family, even your own parents. I love when people give gifts to their own parents during pageant week, to your sponsors, of course, and your directors. Plus, it's appropriate to bring a little something small for each of the other contestants and even the backstage volunteers. Many women do give gifts like they are passing out beads at Mardi Gras, or like Oprah, a present for you, a present for you, a present for you, and they want to be the person that's just the fairy godmother giving gifts everywhere. That is fine, and if that is in fact your personality, then go for it. Personally, I have always preferred to give gifts privately, so that the true meaning of the gesture isn't confused with showing off. I would always rather my gifts be received from a place of just true gratitude, and I would never want somebody to receive a gift and be like, well, she gave this to me obviously because she's trying to suck up, or she wants everybody to notice, or something like that. I really do prefer giving gifts privately, but that isn't everybody's style. And sometimes giving a gift in public also does honor a person. So just think about where your heart is in your gift giving. You really just want to think of it as a way to honor other people, to demonstrate your generosity. And girl, every time you give, it will come back to you times 10. I promise. It is a law of the universe, okay? It will come back to you. So don't be afraid to give. It's going to be returned. The next piece of etiquette that I want to discuss with you is about talking with the judges, particularly after the pageant. Now, there are tons of emotions flying around after a pageant, even for the judges. So remember, it is not all about you. It takes a village to put on a pageant, so you want to think about them as well. There are lots of scenarios that could have happened after a pageant. For example, sometimes the girl that won is not the one that many judges were even rooting for. Like, it could have just happened in scoring, or it could have been some odd thing where, the ranking system threw the top girl out and someone else won, or it really could have just been that 3 judges were voting for that girl and 2 weren't. I mean, all of these things could be possible. It could also be that one individual judge is rooting for you and your platform and you as a person, but did not think that you could represent the title very well. So they could be absolutely rooting for you, but really just not for this title. It's also entirely possible that a judge or many judges think that you absolutely have no shot at all. But if they think that, there is likely a million ideas of what they wish that they could say to you. So they probably are thinking these things the entire time that they're judging you. They're like, I wish I could just tell her, don't wear this outfit, or, oh my gosh, why does she keep saying or anything like that. These things do come up, okay? It's very subjective, and there's a lot of human interaction, so it does happen. Either way, immediately after the pageant. This is not the time nor place to get into that conversation. I did an entire episode last week about how to thank your judges in order to receive actual feedback. That's in episode 52. So winapageant.com/52. I highly recommend that you listen to that for all of the gritty details. But for now, suffice it to say that a simple and genuine thank you so much for taking the time to be here today and to judge our pageant. That will go a long, long way. And finally, the last piece of etiquette that I want to leave you with today is always thank your sponsors. Everyone who is sewn into your experience deserves a thank you in some way. Hopefully a handwritten thank you note, because we just don't receive enough of that, So your directors, the production staff, your host hotel, the judges, your sponsors, the authors of the books that you read, the producer of the podcast that you're listening to right now. Guys, we absolutely love knowing that the work that we are doing is sewing into you and developing you as a better contestant. Even the people that you've paid. So your gown designer, your stylist, your coach, the person who edited your paperwork, your hairstylist. I'm talking everybody who has sewn into you. I would start keeping a list right now as you're preparing for your pageant so that you can give gratitude to every single person after your big event. I recorded an entire podcast for you about saying thank you. So it's like the anatomy of a thank you letter and what should really be included in that. So I will also link that for you in the show notes. So I know I have a ton more resources for you on each one of these topics because they are so important. So I will put all the links to all of the other episodes for you in the show notes at winapageant.com/53 because I really want you to just understand this etiquette because that, ladies, is how you win a pageant. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next Win a Pageant Wednesday. Hey there, I'm Alycia Darby, and I just want to say thank you so much for watching that last video. If you totally loved it and got something from it, would you just click subscribe right here to subscribe to our YouTube channel? Hey, I am here for you, and I've got so many more trainings and videos for you. In fact, this one would be a really great one to watch next. Or if that topic doesn't interest you, then try this one. It's my most recent video training. So I think both of these would be really great for you. Thank you again so much for subscribing. I am honored to be your coach. I'll see you again soon.